live. It's the Craig Bowl Football Show. KX4 and Gate City Bank present the Craig Bowl Football Show.
It was an FCS showdown, and Bison Nation was ready. If you don't have your voice back yet, we totally understand. Noise aside, though, the Bison did what champions do, dug deep and found a way to win a very difficult game. Craig Bowl joins us on the set right now, and Coach, this was a tough game, but you know, you dug deep, and when you don't have your best sometimes, that shows the mark of a champion.
You know, it really does, Jeremy. There was a lot of points in that ball game that a lot of teams would have just said, you know what, it's not our day. Our guys never had that attitude. We appreciate the resolve and the focus of this football team. It was going to be a great game. I didn't think we'd come up with a win coming up on the minus turnover margin, though.
Northern Iowa, were they as good as you thought they were?
You know what, a little bit better.
Yeah.
Obviously the back, we think, is a phenomenal back. Quarterback's a good player, and they played well on defense. It's a spirited game, and we knew that it was going to be a close game, probably come down to one possession, and that's what happened.
Let's take a look at the highlights. It was just a phenomenal atmosphere at the Fargo Dome, and just a great game. It's going to be really fun to dive into these highlights. You know, some adversity right out of the gates here on the opening kickoff.
Well, here you've got Marcus, who, you know, I've been watching him return kicks for many years. He's always got great ball security, and they forced a fumble, and you thought, wow, and came up with it. Now, what was so telling right here was our defense came out, held them to a 3-and-out, and forced them to a field goal. Those plays right there have a big, big impact on increasing your chances to win.
You know, John Crockett in the running game really had a burst in this ball game, didn't he?
Well, he did. Here you can see a good job blocking up front, but beyond that, you can see John break a couple tackles, makes the guy miss here and turns a corner and's got a burst and picks up the first down.
2 offensive line starters were out, and that was a factor early in the ball game.
Well, it really was. There was a lot of adversity that we were confronted with during the course of the week, and here you can see us giving up the sack. Brock does a good job holding on to the football.
Now, offensively, Cole Morgan's a nice quarterback. They have the short passing game, and Kevin Vereen's a good receiver.
Well, they've got good players, and Cole Morgan came in with a high passing percentage. Here you can see him getting some yardage, but later on they come up with a big strike on our best defensive back.
Yeah, they went right at Marcus here. This is a circus catch, though.
Well, it's good coverage and good throw and a good catch, and like you said, a one-handed catch. The guy kept his foot in bounds, and a big catch. But once again, our defense doesn't panic. Comes up. Now, this guy's one heck of a football player as a kicker. Yeah,
he is a weapon. That's a 50-yard field goal by Tyler Sievertson. It's 6-0. At the end of the first quarter here, plays just still weren't really clicking offensively yet.
Now, we began to struggle a little bit. Brock comes back, and, you know, a difficult pass, but a little bit high. Normally, we get that.
Now they hit a big play here. This David Johnson is a fantastic running back, and he breaks a lot of tackles.
You know, we got him pinned deep in their territory, and here you can see Colton Hegel, who's arguably our best tackler, misses the tackle. Grant comes by and gets stiff arm. He runs through Marcus. This guy can cover a lot of ground. He's almost 220 pounds. A great football player, and they're going to make plays, and we're going to make plays.
So it's 13-0 right now, but so many times we've seen it. You need points, you need a drive, and Brock and the offense come up with it here. A big run by Crockett.
Did a really good job of blocking up front, and John does a nice job picking his way and come up with the first down. Now we're in their territory.
You know, 3rd and 5 right here. This is a huge play, and what a route and catch by Kerry Woods.
You know what? Good protection. Brock put the ball right on the money and great concentration. Kerry from Bemidji has gotten better and better as a receiver. Here he came up with a big touchdown.
You know, when you have the momentum now, the place is hopping, and this could have been a huge turning point in the ball game.
Well, we got good pressure here. You can see the quarterback threw an errant throw. Christian Dudzik took his eye off the ball. I think he was looking at that goal line. Nobody feels worse than number 35.
You know, as we head into half here, you started to really turn out some yards in the running game.
Well, this was going to be our ace in the hole, and we talked about that during the course of the week. We needed to keep possessions close enough to allow our running game to have an impact.
They really had no answer for Brock right up the middle, did they?
Well, here's a great job of the quarterback run game. Brent Vegan dialed up a good play, but you can see Northern Iowa was still scrapping.
Now this drive did stall here. This maybe looked like a pass interference, but the drive stalled. Here we go to half 13-7.
You know what? You're going to have plays made by both teams, and close game at halftime.
Yeah, 13-7. That touchdown you got, though, was big as we head to the scoreboard to make it 13-7, a one-possession game. Crockett had a big first half with 63 yards. Of course, David Johnson had 96 yards, but 85 of those were on one run. On the hot seat this week, Bison quarterback Brock Jensen. Is your room neat or a disaster?
Definitely a disaster.
Did you need training wheels when you learned how to ride a bike?
I did.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Which do you like less, doctor or dentist?
I'd say dentist. I hate getting the picks in the teeth of that. Oh.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh.
When you dress casual, what kind of shoes do you wear?
Probably Sperry's.
Hero as a child?
Brett Favre.
Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
Favorite professional sports team?
I gotta go with the Green Bay Packers.
Least favorite sport to watch?
I'd say tennis.
Would you rather have it 100 degrees or 10 below?
10 below, no doubt.
What do you like most about Coach Bull?
He's a great leader, really great leader.
How do you want Bison fans to remember you?
I think just as a winner.
Well, Coach, I'm guessing it was a pretty lively locker room. Some adjustments were made.
You know what? Most of the time, if you walk in our locker room at halftime, it's not what a lot of people would think. There's a lot of teaching going on. There's a lot of instruction. There's not a lot of yelling, a lot of talking. Our coaches have done a great job at halftime.
Well, let's dig into the second half here. Now, Northern Iowa won the toss, so they got the ball first, but you forced a 3-and-out. Then offensively, you went right to work on this first drive.
You know, really good job of coming out. The tempo changed, and you can see Brock avoiding a pass rusher and then putting the ball on the money to Ryan.
This play to Cooper Wallow has really worked well this year, hasn't it?
You know what? The sweep here out of an unbalanced look, it's a difficult play to defend. Cooper's got good speed, and we've done a good job blocking up here. Cooper picks up the first down. Now we're deep in their territory, 19-yard line.
Now 4th and 1 here, you settle for the field goal. Did you think about going for it at all?
You know, it was a little bit of a long one, and we were right in the middle. We wanted to narrow that point gap, and we needed to get some momentum going. We wanted to make sure we put some points on the board. Nice job of kicking by Keller.
You know, as it turned out, those 3 points were nice to have a lot later. Now, David Johnson really started to churn out some yards.
Well, here you can see he's, you know, he's almost 220 pounds. He's very elusive. He plays really hard, runs hard. One of the top players in the league.
And he can catch the ball, too, not just run it. He's split wide here.
You can see him being very creative. They've got some excellent schemes on offense. Good job protecting up front. David Johnson comes underneath on the under route, breaks 2 tackles, almost scores right here.
He suffered a hip pointer on that play and was never the same, though, and that was a big part of the game. Now they go at Marcus Williams here. They're at the 1-yard line, and they throw the football.
You know what? Good throw and a good catch here. This is a difficult route to defend down here when the ball's put perfectly. That quarterback has came into the game and had the highest passing efficiency rating in the league.
20-10 now, so on the kickoff, again, a little more adversity. We start wide here. We show Christian Dudzik now returning the kick.
You know what? That's an understatement when you say a little bit more adversity. This was right here. You could just go, oh, my goodness, the wheels are coming off. Now we had just given up a long drive for a score. They got the ball deep in our territory. Most teams here are going to, you know, screw up, and here they come back. We hold them to a field goal.
That was huge, wasn't it? Hold them to 3. That could have been the key part of the game.
Really, really was a huge play.
Now again, here's a fumble. The ball lays on the carpet for what seems like an eternity, but Zach Johnson, heady play.
You know what? They did a nice job on a blitz, and the ball was on the ground for a long time. I'm glad we came up with it.
Now into the 3rd quarter, we're moving into the 4th quarter here. It's a 3rd and 3. Again, very good efficiency on 3rd down in this ball game.
Well, we're down a couple scores here, and 3rd down is really important. Nice job of Brock picking up the first down. That's about a 25-yard run.
Yep, and then a couple plays later, it's 3rd and 1, and John Crockett goes for 13. These runs are starting to really open up.
Really good job by our offensive line finding the hole, and John does a good job of keep on going. And you know what? That fired up our sideline and the crowd.
Really had to sweat out a 4th down play here. 4th and 6, the game on the line.
Well, you know, good route by Zach Varah and really good protection. Here you can see a great angle of what the quarterback's looking at. Put the ball right there, touchdown, and that just generated a huge amount of momentum.
Boy, that was a bullet by Brock Jensen. Can't be understated. What a great throw under a stressful situation, and the defense got some energy out of that whole deal.
Well, you know what? You win as a team and you lose as a team, and our guys are feeding off one another. Here you can see now all of a sudden all those gaps are beginning to close down.
Now the Bison get the ball back after a 3-and-out right there. Jake Farley, their leading tackler, was hurt for a long time. This is the play right after that. You had a lot of time to draw this one up.
You know what? Brock does a nice job pulling the ball down, finding his way, and picking up another first down.
And you go deep here. You feel like you have a chance to maybe take a shot deep, and you get a pass interference call. Big play here.
This is off a play-action pass. We do a good job. It's a difficult route to defend. Here you can see Zach's behind him, and the defensive back was called for pass interference here.
Well, again, these runs really started to open up, and UNI was on their heels. A great look at the clinching touchdown.
You know what? Here you can see a good job, and this is what makes Sam O'Jury really special. He's very elusive.
Boy, he can make you miss in the hole right there, no question. I thought Kyle Emanuel defensively, after that touchdown right there, really played his best football maybe as a Bison. A quarterback hurry right here.
Well, anytime you've got that left tackle position here, you can see Kyle didn't come up with a sack, but he certainly hurried the quarterback.
120 yards rushing in the fourth quarter for the Bison. That's Bison football wearing them out, isn't it?
Well, this is what we play for. At the end of the game, you know what, you've got no answer. Here you can see Sam does a great job flipping the field over.
Now you get to a 4th and 1 and you decide to go for it here, kind of in that tweener yardage where you're going to kick a field goal, punt, or go for it. You go for it here.
Well, credit Northern Iowa. They dialed up a really good defense. They've got a free defender, and we were tackled for loss.
But you get a big play on a kid who really gutted it out throughout the week. He was injured in practice during the week.
You know what? The storylines on this guy are phenomenal. C.J. Smith was not expected to play, and here he comes up with a perfect technique and a great interception. He's got a bright future ahead of him, Jeremy.
Championship football, the Bison find a way in a huge game, the game of the week in the FCS, 24-23. Brock Jensen ended up very efficient. Crockett went for 100. O'Jury right at the 100-yard mark. Grant Olson and Colton Hegel combined for 20 tackles. Let's hear what the players had to say after the game.
Oh, it was definitely like a playoff game. The fans were making so much noise, and they're giving UNI's offense a hard time getting the ball off, so it was definitely a playoff atmosphere out there today.
At one point, I think our offense was driving. We're down 13, and I kind of looked at Cole and Mike, and I'm like, well, here we go, Kansas State all over again. You know, being in that situation before really helped us, and it's just kind of like, well, you know, our offense is going to score. If we're going to get a stop, they're going to get the ball back. They're going to score again. We're going to get a stop, and that's just our mentality. We don't, you know, we don't let it get to us. We just keep playing no matter what the score is.
I mean, Coach Kleiman, like he said, the game's going to be, it's going to determine, it's going to come down to us, really. We're going to have to make a play. And we just kept fighting. We just kept fighting. And towards the end, we just made plays, and CJ got the interception, and it sealed the deal.
Yep, the Bison got it done. Well, in our Nodak Mutual Insurance Player of the Game segment, we honor a moment more than a stat line. Zach Vraw ran a great route and scored a touchdown on a do-or-die 4th down play. If he does not execute the route and make the catch, the Bison rally likely doesn't happen. Great connection by Brock and Zach Vraw.
Well, it was a audible on the line of scrimmage, so we lined up not really knowing what we were going to run. And then Brock gave me the signal for a play, and I saw the right coverage front by the cornerback, just ran her out and executed.
Wow, incredible. That was an audible by Brock Jensen at the line. Those are things that the fans maybe don't see. A great play by those two guys.
You know what? And you can just see how Vraw is. He's right here, not too high, not too low, and excellent throw and a great catch.
So all the injuries, Coach, let's kind of sort through this. And first, I think we'd like to say best wishes to Jake Farley, who broke his leg. That's a tough situation for them. He's their leading tackler.
Right. You know, anytime a player gets injured, that's not something that you hope for at all, and want to wish them the very best. They're an excellent football team, and Jake's a really good football player, a coach's kid, so I have a soft spot in my heart for him.
Now, offensive line, there were a lot of injuries, and Jack Plankers went down in this game, and Colville and Gimstead. Gimstead had to really gut it out, so offensive line was the key issue as far as injuries go.
Well, you know, you're missing 2 of the 5 guys. That's a huge portion of your offensive line, and so to put new guys in at different positions and to make those decisions that late and have that much switch, it's those guys, Scott Fuchs and the offensive line did a great job.
I suppose throughout the course of the week we'll find out if some of those guys are available too. We probably don't know quite yet.
No, we won't know until later on this week.
Now, quarterback hurries I thought were a big key in this ball game, Coach. Really, in the first 4 games you had 10 quarterback hurries. This weekend you had 11 quarterback hurries. Only 1 sack, but the quarterback hurries are kind of an untold stat, aren't they?
Well, they really are. Here you can see Kyle putting pressure on the quarterback on this last one, and you know, this next time Cole Jury comes around, and whenever the ball's got to come out a little bit faster than normal, what they're normally able to do, that just poses a big, big problem. Great job by our coverage, but moreover, by the front four. And
you mentioned he had been completing about 70% of his passes. He was 12 of 33 in this game.
Oh, we did a great job, particularly on third down, and that's a down that you really got to focus off to get off the field.
Well, let's talk about the drives. You know, against Kansas State, your backs are against the wall. Brock Jensen delivers. This weekend against Northern Iowa, backs are against the wall. Brock Jensen and this offense deliver again. We're going to compare these two drives. They were very similar. You know, they really chewed up a lot of time and got the job done. And this is becoming a thing of legend at this point, how Brock Jensen delivers in the clutch.
Well, you know, it even started the year before when we played Georgia Southern, but you put the game on the line with our offense, particularly Brock out there and other playmakers that you have just time and time again. Here you can see the comparisons. And one thing that's static, though, is, you know, when the game's on the line, chances are 16 is going to have the football doing something good. Here you can see a big, big run by Samuel Jury.
You know, Coach, and a lot of people have asked me, they say, how can people not stop this quarterback sneak? I think the beauty of it is they know it's coming, and they still can't stop Brock Jensen.
Well, that's always part of a good sign of a good offense when, you know what, somebody else may know exactly what you're doing. You can do it anyhow.
Yeah, that's right. Brock Jensen is a very tough runner. Another tough kid, Andrew Grothman, who is a big part of the running game, a great blocker, catches the ball once in a while. He has an interesting hobby away from the football field. He's going to be a farmer, and a good one. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Hard work and toughness. Hillsboro native Andrew Grothman has both of those qualities. Surprisingly, it's not just on the football field. Grothman works just as hard away from the classroom and away from the football field. In fact, he has already started the life he will lead when football is over. Jamal Spencer has the story.
Away from the collisions of the football field, far from the stress of being a college student, removed from the thousands and thousands of screaming fans, in the tiny town of Grandin, North Dakota, Andrew Grothman finds his place of peace.
Anytime I'm feeling, you know, a little down about something, or which isn't too often, but I just like to come out here, and it's just like a little getaway.
The Bison fullback is a sheep herder with a sizable flock.
330 lambs over here.
Growing up in Hillsboro, he always had a passion for animals, but he noticed it really take off about 10 years ago.
One of my uncles, Uncle Howard, he said I got the disease, and that's the disease where you just get attached to livestock and enjoy that part of just if it's manual labor or just being out here.
Grothman likes to spend his mornings tending to his flock.
They're almost like little kids. You just gotta make sure they're doing all right.
And he knows his hobby isn't understood by many of his friends.
You know, a lot of people don't understand. They're like, geez, Andrew, you just go home and work. And well, that's my enjoyment. That's my, I guess you could say, hobby. That's what I enjoy to do in my free time.
That blue-collar attitude endeared him to this Bison staff and has only grown in his time at NDSU.
He was a tremendous wrestler in high school, and we knew we had a tough kid on our hands. You know, I can't think of too many practices he's missed, too many opportunities out in the field that he's missing up, you know, a chance to make an impact on a game.
And of course, he's taken his fair share of teasing from his teammates about his peculiar hobby.
You know, I know some guys on the team kind of call it, you know, his other personality or his other lifestyle, you know, kind of like a superhero a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting, I tell you what.
Andrew Grothman doesn't want to be known as just another football player. It's what he does, he says, but not what defines him. He's already planned his life beyond college, and the agricultural field seems to be a pretty good place for him to start. For the Craig Bowl Football Show, I'm Jamal Spencer.
Hey, Coach, that's what kids do in the upper Midwest. They go work. I mean, from practice, I talked to him last week. He'd been out with the sheep, and he had a flat tire on the way back to the Fargo Dome, fix a flat tire. That's what they do. They just get it done.
Andrew Grothman epitomizes, that's a heart and soul of Bison football right there. He's the most respected player we have on our team. He works hard. He's a team player. He's resilient. He's resourceful. That type of attitude is what wins when you're down by 13 points.
In this week's Peterson Farm Seed Future Crop of Bison, another Nebraska kid is making his mark. Redshirt freshman Bo Likas from Bellevue West in the Omaha area can play 2 positions, safety or will linebacker. And as you see here, he is also a wrecking ball on special teams. Bo says he is grateful he is learning a lot about linebacker play from some of this year's outstanding veterans.
Yeah, those guys really, I mean, they know exactly what's going on, and I can ask LJ about Will, and he don't really play Will, plays a little bit, but he can answer any question I have, whether it's about cover 4 or cover 2, and I mean, that's just great, especially Grant. Grant's a great role model, so I can just kind of see how he watches film and learns how to play the game, so that's why I'm just learning from them, and hopefully once they're gone, I can take their spot and fill in their shoes.
Tell us a little bit about Bo. He's very good on special teams. He made that big tackle yesterday.
You know, we recruited Bo out of Bellevue. He was an athletic guy, but very aggressive. And those guys, either a safety or a linebacker, they make great special teams players. And the special teams, for us, that's 1/3 of the game, and Bo's been a great contributor.
Well, coming up, we'll set up homecoming week. Missouri State comes to the Fargo Dome. Stay with us.
It's time for another game-changing play in history. Presented by Pioneer brand T-Series soybeans. Be a game changer.
At the bottom, Cooper Wallow at the top, power I for NDSU. They're going back to John Crockett. Crockett dances in the lane. John Crockett will score! NDSU punches it in. John Crockett scores right up the middle, and the Bison have taken a 2-score lead.
Be a game changer. Plant Pioneer brand T-Series soybeans. From DuPont Pioneer.
Always fun to look back at those plays. And Coach, quick comment about Missouri State, who comes in here this week.
Well, really athletic team, dangerous football team. We've had great matchups with them. Coached by Terry Allen. Homecoming, big game for the Bison.
Hey, great win against Northern Iowa. Enjoy it, folks. We'll see you. It's homecoming week for the Bison. Have a great week.